in those final moments of a long shift, whether you're a dedicated doctor or tirelessly working through the night, inspiration can come from the simplest of pleasures. Farewell Coffee is more than just a drink. It's a moment of awakening.
Crafted with passion in small batches, each cup of Farewell Coffee is a blend of rich flavors and heartfelt stories. Born from a tradition of camaraderie at a fire station table, it's the spark that ignites conversations, fuels friendships, and rekindles spirits.
So embark on this flavorful and inspiring adventure with us. Place your first order at www.farewellcoffeeroasters.com and discover the story with every sip. Use the code BSFreeMD15 for 15% off your first order. It's Farewell Coffee Roasters. We love it, we drink it, and we can't wait for you to try it.
Finally, a source of raw, real, and honest information on healthcare issues that matter most. Welcome to BS Free MD. From the latest medical information to how to stay sane as a doctor or a patient, no subject is taboo, no BS is allowed. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Doctors May and Tim Hindmarsh.
Welcome back. Truth Bomb time. Assumptions. I want to talk about assumptions. Assumptions.
Or what? Ass, you and me?
Yeah, that's right. That's assume. So it always, I went to a conference in Naples, Florida, probably 22 or 23 years ago, or more. Actually, it might be 25 years ago. And it was one of the coolest things. This guy did this kind of big picture, sort of more woo-woo talk. And he was really an interesting cat. And he said, if you really want to change and if you really want to be creative and if you really want to look at things in a different way, the first thing you do is figure out what the assumption, the underlying assumption is in whatever it is that you're thinking about. Like the education system, what's the underlying assumption? The healthcare system, the underlying assumption. Treating blood pressure, what's the underlying assumption? And then reverse it and see if you get a better answer. So that I've always found that really, really challenging. So for instance, if you looked at, why do we treat blood pressure? What's the assumption?
Well, it's based on the studies and data showing reducing blood pressure reduces cardiovascular risks and stroke risk.
Right. No, that's exactly right. And so the point is, you're trying to.
But I wouldn't say it's an assumption. I would say it's a endpoint that we've.
Yeah, but you could still challenge the assumption. You can say, is it really blood pressure? That's changing blood pressure. Is it something different? Is it when you change your blood pressure, do you produce more nitric oxide that's protective of your vessels? Does it? I mean, there's a lot of these things where you can still challenge the assumption. I mean, blood pressure's pretty well 100% nailed down that, yes, this is something that we should treat. Cholesterol, kind of different. There's lots of people that have challenged the assumption that, elevated LDL cholesterol is bad and should be brought down at all cost. It may be a marker. It may be a marker in some people and not in others for heart disease. So you challenge the assumption. But I think it's really powerful, and it's super powerful when you make it personal. So, when you get into things like, I need to make more money. Okay, so what's the assumption?
Well, it depends. It can be all kinds of things.
It can be.
You can be wanting to make more money because you are broke and foreclosing, because you want to spend it on something that you want to buy and need more money. There's all kinds of reasons.
Right, but that's why you have to go through that and tease it out, right? So if it's I need to get a new car. Okay, why? Well, it could be because your old car's a piece of crap and it's unreliable and you can't get to work. Okay. It could be because you want to spoil yourself. That might be okay too. And so, because I find it just super fascinating. It's like, I think very few people stop and think about, why am I doing things? What's the underlying assumption that I have that's making me do something.
I think, well, just to challenge, I think you're thinking motivation.
No, it's not. No, it's
are you using the
no,
term
not at all.
motivation
It's based on an undefined term. It's based on an assumption. You know, we assume for instance, let's open this can. So there's an underlying assumption in the CDC pediatric vaccination schedule. And it's unstated, but it's widely known. It's if you prevent all of these childhood diseases, okay, if you prevent chickenpox and pertussis and hepatitis B or Haemophilus B, and there's several assumptions. That's one of them. If you prevent all of those diseases, children will be healthier. That's the assumption. Okay, they will be healthier. But that assumption comes from another assumption, which is eradicating disease is always good, which isn't necessarily true, because some diseases may actually make your immune system stronger by getting them and not by getting vaccinated for them. So, for instance, live measles virus alone has been shown to increase survival for almost any cause. So it decreases all-cause mortality. That's been shown in studies where they've gone into completely unvaccinated society and gave them the old school measles shot, because measles in a lot of the overcrowded areas of the world is devastatingly lethal. But what if you had another assumption instead? What if your assumption is it's not about knocking out every single childhood disease, it's about having the most robust and powerful immune system? What if you change that assumption? Would it change how you would practice medicine with regards to childhood illnesses? Because I have become convinced by changing assumptions that colds are not bad. Colds are good, because colds energize your immune system and prevent you from getting more dangerous things. So for instance, germ theory. What's the assumption in germ theory? Germs are bad and will kill you. Well, that's not exactly true. Challenge the assumption. Some germs are bad and want to kill you. Most germs, almost every bacteria and virus in the entire known universe, is either neutral or beneficial. We didn't really think of that until we started looking at the microbiome stuff. So this assumption of germ theory, which was the foundation of damn near all of modern scientific medicine, isn't exactly true. But this worship of germ theory gets you almost 100 vaccinations in children by the time they're 18 years old. And I'm not going pro or anti-vax on this at all. I'm just asking the question. What does the interaction of that many immune stimulating agents over that period of time do? The answer is it's unknowable. It's unknowable. Because how can you gauge those kind of interactions over that period of time? You'd have to study like tens of millions of people for 50 years or 100 years. Like it's unknowable. But we still do this shit that we know is unknowable. We give patients that are 80 years old 12 different pills and think we actually understand what the interactions of 12 different pills in a 90-year-old is. We have no idea. We have a clue. That's it.
Well, anybody who's done any cleaning in a kitchen or a bathroom knows you mix chemicals together, bad things happen.
Yes.
Bleach, vinegar, baking soda, boom.
Yeah.
So I've always said that about piling on pills in handfuls.
Yeah, but
what the heck?
It comes from an assumption in medicine that should be challenged every single time.
That they all work independently on
that
their
they
own.
all work independently. That more pills are better. That there's a treatment for every disease. There isn't a treatment for every disease. Some things just suck.
So, I guess how do we wrap this up into a little bite-sized ball of useful? Not just, I won't say useful information, but productive information going forward.
when you have a question in mind, number one, identify the assumption. Number two, reverse it. Number three, think about where that takes you. That's how you do it. What's the assumption? What does it mean if it's reversed? Where am I going with this? Because a lot of it is you reverse the assumption. You go, yeah, that was totally stupid. The original assumption was 100% correct. But I mean, I can tell you in healthcare, like I've changed so many things that I completely assumed to be true. And I can tell you, your doctor, if you go to a regular allopathic doctor, their practice is based on a whole bunch of assumptions that they never even assumed they're assumptions. They just assumed they're true. They just assumed that, Pfizer descended from Mount Zion with tablets of how to practice medicine.
I love the double entendre there. Tablets.
I know.
Beautiful. Amazing. You didn't even know that.
No,
that you did it.
No, but I mean, it's true. Like I literally met a woman. I met a gynecologist in an airport, and she said every single disease that doesn't exist now has been eradicated by a vaccine. And I am like rolling a joint going, smoke another one, sister. But I realized I'm not going to engage this person because A, I'm going to get pissed off. And B, I'm not going to convince them. It's like convincing a Steelers fan that the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in football, because right now they actually are. But I digress. I mean, it's like everything we've done, and they've all worked, and they don't have any. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just
practical advice. Scratch your head and think, and see what assumptions you could blow up this week with this truth bomb. Bombs away.
All right, farewell, coffee roasters. More than just coffee, it's your companion in life's journey. Hand roasted with dedication, each cup is a story and inspiration.
So embark on this flavorful and inspiring adventure with us. We drink it. We know you'll love it too. Place your first order at www.farewellcoffeeroasters.com. That's FARE coffeeroasters.com, and discover the story with every sip. Use the code BSFreeMD15 for 15% off your first order.
And just of note, we started drinking this. We posted some stuff on Instagram. They really grooved to our rhythm, and we reached out to them as far as working together because we like it so much. When we talk about this, it's definitely the real deal. We know that you'll like it.
It's no secret that medicine is a bit, uptight. That's why Tim and I created BS Free MD, to mix things up a little and have fun in the process. Besides, we are having these exact same discussions all the time, so we thought we might as well invite everyone to the party. If you really like us, you can get plenty more, and maybe see one of Tim's cool tattoos on our Instagram or Facebook pages at BS Free MD. See you next time.
But we try to keep BS Free MD as raw and real as possible. We can't be held responsible for any medical decisions or discussions had as a result of what you've heard on the show. We know, bummer. But the truth is, we really do care about your questions. So feel free to reach out to us by email at doc@bsfreemd.com.